reports prepared by council officers and to make recommendations regarding these reports to the monthly council meeting. Council's delegates on the Policy and General Committee are Mayor Kennedy, Deputy Mayor Hickey, Councillor Allgate, Councillor Bolland, Councillor Brown and Councillor Jewett. Live streaming and recording of meetings. This committee meeting is being live streamed via YouTube and recorded and published online via Council's website. To those present in the meeting today, by attending this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. The chairperson and or the general manager have the authority to pause the live stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Participants are advised that they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. Now a call for apologies. No apologies. Apology from Councillor Brown. Can I have a person move a motion? Move Councillor Kennedy, Mayor Kennedy, sorry. Seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. All those in favour? Unanimous. Call for further apologies. There are no further apologies. Call for a motion to accept apologies as done. Put the motion to the vote. It's done. Leave of absence. Are there any applications for leave of absence? I think nil. The prayer. Can we call on Councillor Boland to read the prayer?
Thank you, Chair Councillor Allgate. Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council, direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. And now we'll have Councillor Jewett read the Acknowledgement of Country.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Jewett. Next item on the agenda is the minutes for confirmation. The minutes of the Policy and General Committee meeting held Wednesday, March the 23rd, 2022 to be confirmed. Can we have a mover of last meeting's minutes? Moved Mayor, Deputy Mayor Hickey. Seconded by Mayor Kennedy. All those in favour? All those in favour? Councillor Chandler, are you not voting? Oh, you're not on the committee. That's a good reason. Okay, carried. He's looking pretty quiet there. Disclosures of interest. I think there might have been one, was there? Was Councillor Boland giving you a, something else? Any councillor have a disclosure of interest? No disclosure of interest. Reports. Unlike some previous chairpersons of committees, I'm certainly not going to read out every recommendation. Item 1 on the reports. Broken Hill City Council report number 87/22 dated April 6, 2022. The Office of Local Government Circular, Councillor Superannuation.
I'll move the recommendation as written with an added piece that before we determine whether we take an amount or not, that we go to the community to get consult with the community on their views.
Okay, moved by Mayor Kennedy, seconded. Councillor Boland. Discussion?
Yeah, just the reason I do that is because in reality it'll cost council and the community an extra 10.5%. I don't believe that councillors should be getting superannuation on top of it. If councillors want to have a 10% extra, then they really need to move it and let the community know that it is 10% extra. To hide behind the superannuation part, I think is probably wrong. But having said that, if the community support it and it encourages other people to come to council in the future, then I'm all for that as well. So I just think that in these matters, it's appropriate that public consultation is sought.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Any further speakers? I consider Councillor Kennedy's, look, Mayor Kennedy's motion to be a good one, because I'm certainly not in favour of having the council pay an extra 10% and then up to 12.5% on top of what the councillor fee is. The council has decided that the fee was sufficient, and I don't see any reason why that should be changed. But if the public think that this council is worth more, well, fine. I'll put it to a vote. All in favour? Carried. Unanimous. Item 2. Broken Hill City Council Report number 88/22 dated March 29, 2022. Draft Community Strategic Plan, Your Broken Hill 2040. This is an important document, and it takes some reading as far as I believe. You have the recommendations there. Can we have a mover of a recommendation?
Could I ask a question before it's moved?
Certainly.
Through the chair to the general manager. After we adopted out for public consultation, is there enough time at any stage to go through it with councillors? Because it is as has been explained by myself, you, Bob, it's probably one of the most important documents there is, and it's probably one that all councillors should have but if it's too busy at this time, that's fine as well, because I know it's budget time and everything else.
Yep.
Mr. General Manager.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. We did have a councillor workshop, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, Mayor Kennedy, but you were absent due to isolation requirements. So the councillors did have a briefing from our Chief Corporate and Community Officer, Miss Newman, and our corporate team. But certainly during the 28-day public exhibition period, we'll have another consultation with councillors to gain further feedback. Well, obviously, we're going to get feedback from the community during that period. So we'll have another briefing with councillors to go through that feedback, but also obtain any more feedback from councillors before it's adopted.
Only if there's time, because it is.
No, certainly, as you mentioned, it is the most important strategic plan of council, so we'll make time for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just another comment, if I could, Chair.
Pardon?
Comment and a comment on the document.
Certainly.
Reading through the document today, and just a request. This may have been one of those requests that should have been just an email. Am I able to have through the chair to the general manager, a email copy so I can print it out and have some light bedtime reading, I guess you could say. And also reading through the document, this would have to be probably one of the most positive documents that come out of our city for a long time. There's a lot of positivity in it. I note population growth, happily note that it might be a little bit conservative of a population growth. But in general, this is a really, really impressive document and full of positivity for so many years. The news coming out of Broken Hill has always been...
Point of order.
Point of order.
For a positive document.
Mayor Kennedy.
No, can the speaker move it before he starts giving debate, Chairman? Only joking, Councillor Wallen.
Mayor Kennedy mustn't like positive documents in the community.
Mayor Kennedy is not the chair tonight. You can go on, Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Chair, Councillor Allgate. Before the Mayor interrupted my train of thought, very positive document with so many negative documents coming out of this city for so many years that the mining is gone, the population is going to be 12,000 people. etc. And the town's on a downward spiral. This is a very positive document, and it should give great confidence to businesses looking to invest in our city, the confidence to do so, and hopefully the banks will also see these documents as well and make sure that the finance is available for people wanting to commence business in our city. So looking forward to the next through to 2040. It's going to be exciting times. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. And I agree with the comments wholeheartedly. And
I'll move the recommendation. Councillor Allgate.
I thought you moved the recommendation before.
I was asked a question. I said before it be moved. So I'll
Okay,
move the recommendation.
Move Councillor Kennedy. Seconded. Councillor Jewett. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 4. I've got one out of one. Item 3. Broken Hill City Council report dated 89/22, dated April 05, 2022, draft disability inclusion action plan. This also is a lengthy, it's the plan is quite complex and comprehensive. Can I have a mover or comment, questions?
I'll move the recommendation and just speak briefly to it when there's a second.
Right, moved Mayor Kennedy. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Hickey. Mayor Kennedy.
Yes, this is another very important document, and if I'm sure all the councillors at any time and council staff would understand the importance of making sure that people with disabilities are included, and that can be things as simple as wide enough ramps to make sure that wheelchairs give access to footpaths in the main CBD. So it's an ongoing document. It's a document that will be continually upgraded and enhanced. But just recently, we've been meeting with Lee Hermison, and he works with disabled people. And these things are the things that this inclusion plan is what gets people with disabilities out in the mainstream community again, allows them access to all the things that non-disabled people have access to, because you could imagine there'd be nothing worse trying to get up a gutter that is, say, 12 inches high, and you're going from one end of the street looking for somewhere to get up there, whether you're in a mobility scooter or whatever. So it is an important document. It's a document that one of the creators of it should be really proud of.
Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. I'd like to add to those comments. I think through most of my life, I didn't think all that much about how difficult things were for people who had a disability. But sadly, my wife had Alzheimer's, and towards the end of her life, she was in a wheelchair and whatever. And at that time, from that time on, I realised just how significant and how important disability access to buildings, footpaths and whatever, how important it is. And it's something that a lot of us healthy, so-called healthy people don't think about too much. But I wholeheartedly support Mayor Kennedy's comments. Any further comment?
Yep.
Councillor Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to comment on the Queen Elizabeth Park today and to our General Manager. What a great job, because it's totally disability friendly. There's not a step there. The whole thing has been designed on that, and it's absolutely a credit to council and to the organisers that did it, and well done.
Good, thank you. Like to comment, Mr. General Manager? Pretty important.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. No, certainly. I mean, the team's been working incredibly hard with the last 4 years of the Disability Inclusion Action Plan, and Queen Elizabeth Park was certainly the first park where we've tried to make it completely accessible in all aspects. So the wider pathways, as you mentioned, of anyone of any mobility can actually access the park, and all play equipment there is also accessible as well. So we've had pieces of equipment in the past that have been accessible, but at this time the whole park's been completely accessible, which is obviously the increased cost in regards to putting in that soft fall and the active transport plan as well, which council's currently rolling out, is obviously another vital piece of importance around that, especially around the school areas. You'll see the wider footpaths, and that's all around accessibility. So certainly the team's doing a great job, and led by Miss Newman, and I might throw over to Miss Newman just to go into further detail, because whilst we're talking about infrastructure, the Disability Inclusion Action Plan goes into all the council services, including the library and our cultural services as well. So I'll pass on to Miss Newman. Thank you.
Miss Newman wholeheartedly agrees with every statement that has been made and the support from both councils for the disability sector. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we had a mover, Mayor Kennedy, and a second, Deputy Mayor Hickey. Can we have a vote?
Could I just make one brief comment?
Sure.
Look, there's a former councillor that was a councillor when Councillor Allgate and I were on council, and that was Jamie Mitchell. He died while being a councillor, and he'd be proud today for this disability inclusion plan. He was an advocate for disability. He got elected on the platform of disability. We have a chair out at Patton Park, and so I think he'd think it was great.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Kennedy. We had a vote, did we? Yes, we had a vote. All carried unanimous. Jim, Councillor. Item 4, Broken Hill City Council Report number 90/22, dated April 07, 2022, Office of Local Government Model, Councillor and Staff Interaction Policy. Interesting policy, and generally tends to lay things down in more of a black and white fashion. Well, my reading of it seems to lay it down in a more easier understanding way. So can we have a discussion or a motion?
I'll move the recommendation.
Moved, Mayor Kennedy. Is there a seconder? Councillor Hewitt. Speakers?
Yeah, I'll speak to it. Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Look, it's important that, and this council's already gone towards that, the councillors and the council staff get along really well. The General Manager, Mr Nankiville, has made it quite clear that, and this policy helps show that councillors and council staff can speak on a wide range of issues. There's some issues that are precluded under the Act. So best thing about we now have a policy that shows what we were doing was exactly right in the first place, and I think that's really good. I can't speak for all councils, I can't speak for council staff, but I'm sure that I can speak for myself, Jay and Lacey, who often have a bit of a laugh and all that sort of stuff. So we enjoy interaction, and I would say the same for all other, and Darren and Cody, we have a few other people, but mainly those two because I see them every day. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Kennedy. Any speakers against? I shouldn't think so. We'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 5, Broken Hill City Council Report number 91/22, dated April 04, 2022, adoption of the draft councillor support policy. This ought to be straightforward, I would expect. Do we have a mover of a motion?
Yeah, I'll move the recommendation.
Move, Councillor Kennedy. Mayor Kennedy, I should say. Seconder. Councillor Boland. Speakers?
Oh, just really to say that it's the adoption. We've spoke about it before it went out on draft form. I think it's a good policy. I think it puts it out exactly what we are able to do and what we're not. So I have no problem with it.
It's basically no different, not much different to the original, is it? Okay, item 6. Broken Hill City Council Report 92/22 dated April the 8th, 2022, draft debt recovery policy. I think this is one of the most pleasing rehash of what the council intends to do in terms of debt recovery that I've seen for many a year. Can I have a mover or comment?
I'll move the motion, Chair.
Moved Councillor Boland, seconded Councillor Hickey. Speakers?
May I speak on
Speakers for?
Can I speak on the recommendation, Chairman? Chair's comments around this 100% support. During the process, the election process in the first 4 or 5 months as an elected councillor, debt recovery has been one of the main issues in the community with our ratepayers. We had ratepayers frightened that they would forget to pay a rates notice by 2 days and I'd get a letter or a nasty debt recovery letter. I think this is a common sense approach. The workshop was well done when we had it a couple of weeks ago. And I think this mixes the ratepayers, the councils need to be able to collect rates to provide services, and also recognising that at times certain people in our community will fall into hard times, and we are showing them that we're more than happy to work with them to get through those hard times instead of going straight to debt recovery as in the past. So I think this will be well received within the community, and as I said, this is great outcome for all. Thank you.
Further speakers? I would offer a comment, and I would thank the General Manager and the staff, and in particular the Chief Financial Officer. The presentation at the workshop was ideal, and it's been followed up by the report to the council. And I think most councillors, particularly councillors who have been councillors in the past term, have been approached by people who have been aggrieved by the fact of receiving threatening letters from the legal firm about, and the significance of the costs involved. Decent citizens who just through time and other factors didn't get to pay their accounts on time. This is obviously going to resolve that completely. Can we have a vote? Mr. Hickey?
Yeah,
Councillor Hickey?
I'd concur with both the speakers on those comments, and especially thanks to our General Manager and to Simon and the staff. The workshop was excellent, and I think there's a lot of discontent in the community about the way it was collected in the past, and I'm sure this will rectify most of that sort of discontent amongst our ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hickey.
Just brief comment, Councillor Olga.
Mayor Kennedy?
Not only is it going to be good for the community, because I still have a lot of people that got a lot of money had to pay out with court costs and that sort of stuff over the last few months. It wasn't good. What's really important about this policy is, because it is a good policy, it doesn't, and I think it was Councillor Boland said, council still be able to collect those rates in the same manner they have, like they'll still be got mechanisms in there. But it goes from where the community dislike council and have a reason to dislike council to where a community will say that we're a council that's looking after the people. People understand that you have to pay rates, you have to pay bills. But when you are confronted by a pleasant policy as opposed to an adversarial policy. There's a big difference, and I commend all. I didn't, another one of those I didn't go to because I was struck down with COVID or whatever, badly struck down. But these are they seem like little things, but they're actually big things that turn the community from being at the best apathetic about council to being very positive about council. So well done to all.
Yeah, I agree. And from a personal perspective, I think the extension of the 21 days before you have the 21 days to pay, then you have a further 21 days. That gives people ample time to get their business together and be able to either make some arrangements or pay on before the deadline, before the final letter goes out. Can I have a vote on that? All those in favour? Unanimous. Item 7, Broken Hill City Council Report number 93/22, dated April 11, 2022. Rates additional special variation 2022-2023.
I'll move the recommendation.
Councillor Kennedy. Seconder.
Look, I move this, move the recommendation, and I move it wholeheartedly, support it. I'm not one for overcharging people with rates, but I'm also not one for paying less, not at least keeping up with CPI. If you don't keep up with CPI, it means there's a reduction in services, and that 260,000 is a considerable reduction if we didn't do it. To think that 0.7% was going to be enough to cover the increase in costs for the council and the community was just ridiculous. I'm a supporter of rate pegging because I don't believe council should be able to charge whatever they like, but councils like ours cannot afford to lose $260,000 in a year ongoing. So over a 10-year period, with CPI, you're looking at about $3 million for that amount of money. So that's a lot of money, and it builds a lot of stuff and a lot of infrastructure in the community. So I have no problem whatsoever in supporting going to 2.3%. It's in our strategic long-term plan. I think it wasn't just our council that was surprised that IPART thought that a 0.7% increase in rates was going to be acceptable when your wages go up by well above 2.5%. But at the same time, we're also, with COVID and all that, paying a lot more money to provide the services we currently do. And to say 0.7% was not only wrong, it was insulting.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Speakers against?
I'm just wanting to make a comment, Chair, when possible.
Sure. Councillor Boland.
I agree with the Mayor with the CPI. Just a quick inflation look. Roy Morgan is pointing towards inflation of 4.9%. Over the next couple of years, it's already sitting at about 3.5, 3.6%. And obviously 0.7% was never going to cover services. And as Mayor Kennedy said, when you're under CPI, your services decrease. So your real value in rates is going down due to the massive increases in inflation due to an over-stimulated economy. And I believe that ratepayers understand CPI. Once you step outside CPI, people have a reason to get upset with you. But keeping it at that CPI will ensure that council continue to operate services. And with the services out in the community and the community seeing what council's doing, I think they will be more than receptive to the CPI increase to maintain our services.
Thank you. Councillor Boland. General Manager, would you like to comment? Because this is an important issue in terms of your ability to run the day-to-day council.
Yeah, thanks.
and to
Mr.
provide the services that we expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I think, the councillors have all hit the nail on the head completely there. The 0.7% rate peg was never going to be sufficient to cover the increase in costs. Every single council in New South Wales, inclusive of the advocacy bodies, local government in New South Wales and local government professionals, all advocated exactly along the same lines to have this increased. The Minister for Local Government has requested IPART look for a longer term solution going forward to actually look at how IPART calculated that 0.7%. And certainly this is a short term fix in regards to having that increase above 0.7%. We had factored in 2.3% within our long-term financial plan. And in all reality, that's probably a little bit short based on what we've seen over the last 12 months in regards to further COVID lockdowns, the Ukraine war, increasing inflation, the costs, and just the bitumen and material costs that we've witnessed over the last 3 months have actually increased by 26%. So we're already going to be really struggling to come back into a surplus for 2023 as predicted. There is going to have to be, as we go through the workshop next week with all councillors, looking at service levels or additional revenue income streams. Taking away another 266,000 would have put us on the brink of being unfinancially sustainable again.
Yeah, thank you, General Manager. I think we all know that our day-to-day costs that we face have just gone crazy. Can we have a vote? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 8, Broken Hill City Council report number 94/22, dated April the 6th, 2022, alteration to scheduled standing committee meeting dates for June 2022 due to the council attendance at the National General Assembly of Local Government. Really a machinery matter. Can we have a mover? Move Councillor Hickey, seconded. Councillor Hewitt. Speakers? Speakers? No speakers? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 9, Broken Hill City Council report number 95/22, dated April the 8th, 2022, investment report for March 2022. Can we have a mover?
I'll move the recommendation.
Move Councillor Boland, seconded. Councillor Mayor Kennedy. Speak to it, Councillor Boland.
I think it's all written there. Everything's compliant with policy. So I think that's the report is fine as tabled.
Okay, further speakers? All those in favour? Unanimous. Item 10, Broken Hill City Council report 96/22, dated April the 6th, 2022, nominations for the appointment of community representatives to section 355 community committees. Do we have a mover? Moved Mayor Kennedy. Seconded Councillor Hickey. Speak to it, Mayor Kennedy.
It's good to see people still putting their names down. We probably have to do a little bit more work to make sure we fill all committees because they are important. And yeah, just hopefully we get to a point where they're a lot more autonomous and enjoy doing the work.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Councillor Kennedy. It's good that we've got so many nominations already. Can we have a vote on that? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 11, Broken Hill City Council report number 97/22, dated April 5, 2022, nomination as independent panel members on the Community Assistance Grants Panel. There are 3 recommendations there. Can we have a mover or discussion? Yeah. Councillor Hewitt moving. Seconder. Councillor Hickey. You like to speak to it at all? Councillor Hewitt? No. Anybody like to speak?
Oh,
In favour, Councillor Hickey?
Yes, look, I'd spoken to Tracy Harmon, and she's been in the credit union for a lot of years, and she just wanted to get involved in the community, and so I recommended this one to her, and it's good to see her get through. Yeah, good.
Thank you. All those in favour?
I just briefly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mayor Kennedy?
It's a really good committee. It's one of our most sought after committees as far as the community goes. The community loves it. We put out a lot of donations into the community, and they're always worthwhile. The people that are on it now will see some of the applications that come in, and you'll be able to understand why it's worked so well.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Kennedy. All those in favour? Carried unanimous. Confidential matters. There are no confidential matters. So that is the conclusion of the meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance. Meeting finished at 6:06. Record. Go to the top of the class.